What can you do when the person you trusted with your life is the same one who burns everything down tonight? Haron is drowning in betrayal, sorrow, and rage because Jim Jones has just been condemned to jail, and Cameron, his day one brother, is behind the last blow. But that's not the worst part. In a horrifying twist that Cameron's own family has recently leaked devastating information about Chrissy. They smashed everything left standing, stuck between betrayal. Chrissy was seen breaking down in sobs, her whole existence crumbling down in front of her, while the cameras rolled and the streets continued. Talking today, we break down the facts they sought to hide, discovering secret betrayals, deep rivalries, and a controversy so raw that Harlem is about to explode. Stay locked in because, after hearing what happened behind those sealed doors, you'll never look at loyalty the same way again. There are times in history when things take an unexpected turn and nothing is ever the same again. This is one of those times. Jim Jones was once an untouchable. You read it correctly. The renowned Dipset rapper who we all believe was above the law has now been caught and sentenced to jail. The news struck hard, and just when everyone I thought the dust had settled until a bombshell dropped that none of us anticipated coming. But that's not where the story finishes. No matter how the courtroom drama, Cameron, known for his sharp tongue and quick wit, has suddenly found himself under attack, and here's why. The kicker is that he revealed Chrissy's innermost secrets, which were so stunning that even the toughest among us had to stop and consider what genuinely goes on. Behind the scenes of their public demeanor, you can already sense the strain in the air, can't you? Jim Jones is behind prison, and his empire is unraveling. Cameron is locked in a tornado of mayhem. But wait, there's more. What if I told you that the drama doesn't end with just a few truths spilled? Trust me, it gets much deeper, darker, and more twisted. Let's break it down. You know Jim Jones' notoriety in hip-hop, his position as a leader in diplomats, and impact in the streets. But what you didn't know is that his collapse was years in the making, a slow burn that nothing could stop. The whispers in the industry have been getting louder for a while now regarding his connections, his deals, and the questionable folks he's been rubbing shoulders with. Speaking of connections, let's talk about Cameron Chrissy. We thought the game was finished for everyone involved, but who was pulling the strings? And what did Chrissy have to lose that would compel her to behave the way she did? Could this whole affair have been prevented, or was it always planned to blow up in their faces? Let's start with Jim Jones, who was always more than simply a rapper. He was a brand. But what lurks beyond that polished exterior? It's easy to get caught up in the music and forget that these prominent personas are frequently juggling more than we grasp: charges of corruption, hidden relationships, and treachery. They aren't simply rumors anymore, but truths, and these facts are the precise sources close to the case have uncovered damning evidence that links Jim to illegal activities that go beyond what. Don't get me wrong, this isn't some bizarre conspiracy theory. We have documents and witness testimony, and irrefutable proof that ties Jim to unlawful conduct that went undiscovered for much too long. But here's where it gets interesting: Chrissy Lampkin. If you thought this was simply about Jim, think again. The entire story is based on Chrissy's involvement and her relationship to criminal underworld and the extent she would go to keep the secrets she's been concealing for years. What happens when someone's secrets are exposed? Cameron went into the flames, ready to expose Chrissy for who she really is, but was it worth it? Cameron's loyalty to his pal, and the truth is worth the criticism, because here's the issue: once you peel back the curtain, there's no going back. The whole scenario is a tangle of power difficulties, backstabbing, and questionable. Jim's collapse wasn't simply his own. It's a reflection of the people around him, the ones who supported his ascension and are now seeing his collapse and burn in real time. And Chrissy, well, she's at the core of it all, holding the skeletons in her closet that may take them farther than just Jim. So where does this leave Cameron? Stranded in the middle, battling his own troubles, while having to navigate a world of deceit and secrets? Into what went wrong, how the players got involved, and why this whole problem with is going to grow a lot worse. But before we go any farther, appreciate the gravity of what we're seeing: celebrity scandal. This is a high-stakes game of power, deceit, and survival, and every one of these individuals will suffer the consequences. How did it all go apart for Jim Jones? What dark secrets is Chrissy concealing, and why did Cameron risk everything to discover the truth? As we continue to peel back the layers of this tragic tragedy, we delve deeper into the maze of lies, betrayals, and secrets that have been soulfully concealed from public view. Jones sits behind bars facing claims that may define the rest of his life. The repercussions of Cameron's astounding findings are just starting to unfold. And let me tell you that Cameron, there isn't just the drama of truth that challenges the basic foundation of our whole existence. We all know Chrissy Lumpkin, who has always been the image of Jim, has dedication and strength on his side. But what if I told you that loyalty is nothing more than a well-crafted facade hiding a girl who's been playing afar? Chrissy has been harboring certain skeletons and dark truths that, if revealed, have the potential to change the game. When we look at her whole relationship with Jim Jones, we can see that Jim's imprisonment was about more than just him. It was about what Chrissy had been striving to maintain for years. She's been the gatekeeper, maintaining a tight grip on the empire Jim built to protect their brand. But what happens when that gate is flung open? Details of Chrissy's participation in these criminal agreements have slowly leaked out, and what we've uncovered is nothing short of the public. Chrissy was always the supportive fiancée, the devoted spouse who stood by Jim's side through thick and bad, but behind closed doors. She was a different woman, a woman who was willing to do everything to protect the money and power they achieved. Let's break it down. Spanning several years ago, Cameron, in his normal no-holds-barred manner, not only hinted at these activities, but also made it clear that there were offshore accounts that were mysterious, characters moving money in and out of the country, and deals with underground individuals that no one had the courage to even investigate. But here's where it gets even more twisted. According to several anonymous sources, Chrissy wasn't merely a spectator, but a co-conspirator in some of these malicious actions. In fact, several insiders said that Chrissy was the mastermind behind many critical decisions in Jim's illicit operation. Chrissy was pulling the strings and backdrop, manipulating situations to secure their possessions and further solidify their grip over the game. Picture this: Chrissy, the girl we've met on reality TV with dangerous secrets. They may damage not just Jim's career, but also hers. And it wasn't just the money side of things. Oh no, it goes. Chrissy has her hands in some extremely dark places that include dangerous persons, illegal deeds, and threats that may. I know what you're thinking. How did we get here? How did Chrissy go from being the person we all believe was devoted to Chrissy's partner to someone perhaps tied to organized crime? Well, that's the real story here. According to sources, Chrissy was not only oblivious of Jim's dealings, but also a willing participant in money laundering schemes that helped transit millions via actual firms and bogus organizations, all while playing the role of the supportive fiancé in front of the cameras. It's a fantastic example of the sort of double life that so many in the entertainment industry lead the public. Individuals portraying a squeaky clean image while silently working in the shadows. But let's not forget about the one thing that set the camera and put the whole scheme in jeopardy when he blew the bomb about Chrissy's involvement. His words were more than just an attack on Chrissy. They were a challenge to the whole structure of Jim Jones and Chrissy's enterprise. Clearly, that's when the gloves came off. But why did Cameron do it? Why risk everything by exposing Chrissy, someone he used to consider a buddy and a close? According to those close to Cameron, he wasn't only acting out of anger. Cameron believed that the truth needed to be revealed because the public deserved to know the genuine story behind the lovely lives of celebrities like Jim and Chrissy, and he wasn't willing to let them get away with it. In the end, it wasn't just about retaliation. It was about exposing the darkest side of a society that's frequently kept hidden from public view. You may be wondering, what does all of this imply for Chrissy, Jim Jones, and even Cameron? It's one thing to reveal a secret, but it's another to deal with the truth. The effect of Cameron's charges has been felt throughout the whole entertainment business. Fans are divided, with some siding with Jim and Chrissy while others screaming for justice. No one can dispute that while the world watches, Chrissy's world is shattering around her, and with each new revelation, Her grip on her empire loosens. But the main concern is whether Chrissy will be able to weather this storm, or is this the beginning of the end for her? And what about Jim? As the dust settles, after Cameron's earth-shattering expose, the true effect is starting to take shape. And it's worse than anybody could have predicted. Agency Jim Jones, once said respected icon in Harlem and far beyond, now finds himself not just fighting legal demons, but facing a full-fledged collapse of everything. With federal prosecutors now equipped with the shocking claims made by Cameron and supported by anonymous whistleblowers, the legal news, according to reports, authorities have already initiated a broad investigation into Jim's financial transactions. Cameron's leaks as a road plan juries are being constituted. Former colleagues are being called in covered deals that were previously spoken about behind closed doors. Doors are now being laid bare in courtrooms teeming with reporters. The Finns aren't just coming for Jim, they're coming for everyone who touched it. In an ironic twist, Chrissy's efforts to protect Jim throughout the years may have accidentally sealed both of their destinies, according to close sources. Chrissy's name appears on several crucial financial records that are presently being examined by the federal government. Implicate her in conspiracy, money laundering, and obstruction of justice claims. Social media is in absolute chaos. One minute, followers were disputing whether Cameron was only being rude. The next minute, breaking news alerts were lighting up across every platform, exposing that a full-fledged Chrissy wasn't just a ride-or-die fiancée, she was likely a co-defendant. Twitter erupted. Instagram blogs went into meltdown mode. Talk theory started drawing complicated chronology involving the missing money. It wasn't simply a scandal, but the scandal of the year. Meanwhile, Jim Jones is crumbling under the pressure. Court sketches show him appearing hollowed out and shattered, not like the bold rapper who previously regulated stages and record charts. In private sources indicate he's been desperately seeking to haggle a way out that would minimize his term. There's a catch. In order to save himself, he may have to turn on Chrissy. According to sources close to the case, Jim, the person Chrissy has fought for to save his own skin, federal prosecutors are dangling a proposition in front of Jim, a substantially reduced sentence. In exchange for testifying against his long-term lover, the authorities want Chrissy badly. But that isn't even the whole narrative Jim and Chrissy told. Their magnificent residences, exotic autos, fashionable dresses, and costly travels on social media for years. And guess what? The IRS and Department of Justice is now coming in to remove those assets. Every automobile, every real estate property is being audited, probed, and in some circumstances repossessed. It's a complete and thorough collapse, throwing gasoline to an already smoldering flame. Some celebs are lifelong friends in the industry, suddenly gone. Radio silent. Sponsorship deals have been canceled. Reality TV producers are alleged to be erasing old videos starring Jim Jones, Chrissy, and Mama Scott Young, the executive producer of Love and Chewy Hip Hop, are said to be upset behind the scenes and scrambling to find out how. To minimize the linkage, word on the street is that she's contemplating re-editing prior reunion episodes to completely eliminate Chrissy's involvement. It's as if Chrissy Lampin is being erased in real time, and Cameron, whether you love him or hate him, is standing strong and unconcerned while Jim and Chrissy's world burns down. Cameron is accumulating thousands of followers. Every Instagram live he broadcasts seems like a victory lap. Every shady in the court of public. Cameron didn't just win, he destroyed the resistance, yet there is an underlying sorrow to all of this. Once upon a time, Jim Jones and Cameron were more than opponents. They were brothers in arms, partners, and family members. What we're seeing isn't simply the destruction of careers. It's the Dipset heritage, once assumed to be unshakable, is now in ruins as a result of greed, duplicity, and hubris, as well as the ripple effect. Went well beyond Jim Jones and Chrissy. Harlem itself is grieving to the neighborhood. Jim Jones was a symbol of success, if flawed. But against all chances, that symbol has been destroyed, leaving a deep, cruel wound that may never fully heal. Meanwhile, Chrissy's fate is dangling on a thread, with Jim Jones potentially turning state's evidence on her once sparkling life would soon be relegated to a cold, hard prison cell. According to reports, Chrissy has already hired one of New York's top criminal defense companies, but even the best lawyers can't delete proof or eliminate years of unethical for everyone. Remember that the public is observing everything. Chrissy's love proposals on national television are now investigating every document, interview, and questionable money trail with mercilessness. Because there's no hiding now the ultimate nail in the coffin. Anonymous sources suggest that further indictments may be issued against more associates related to Jim Jones and Chrissy, business associates, old acquaintances, and even a few names that haven't emerged yet but are allegedly neck-deep in the same corruption problem. Involves a complete house of cards crashing down, taking everyone related to it into the catastrophe. And as the last court dates get near, the major question remains: will Jim Jones and Chrissy face the consequences together, or will they turn on one another in one last desperate attempt to survive? Because in this game, loyalty is merely another euphemism for collateral damage. And just like that, the empire destroyed Jim Jones, facing prison walls. Chrissy Lampkin, looking down treachery from the boy she once swore was her everything. Cameron witnessed it all from the front row with the smirk of a man who knew this day will arrive, but the issue is whether it was worthwhile to pursue money, celebrities, and fake allegiance worth abandoning everything they attained. The die-pit ideal is always going to fail, weighed down by its own secrets. Most importantly, who is genuinely to blame? This is Jim Jones, Chrissy, Cameron, Harlem. Since in a world loyalty is purchased, love is militarized and covered. Our cash, no one walks away clean anymore. I want to hear from you. Do you believe Jim Jones deserves another opportunity after all? Should Chrissy be held accountable? Accountable if the allegations are true. Was Cameron a hero for exposing the truth, or merely a snake playing a larger? Share your opinions in the comments. Don't hold back, I'm reading everything. And if you think this was messy, trust what happens next will be much scary. Additional leaks, betrayals, and failures are about to rock the business even more. Make sure if you like this video, please subscribe if you haven't already. Previously done, so turn on your notifications so you never miss the real thing. Stories they don't want you to hear. Because we don't just sit over here, dump the entire stinking pot. Remain locked.